Welcome back to Alien and Stranded. I'm your host, Samson, and today we're having the conversation that nobody prepared you for. The one about what happens to you, the human being, while you are busy becoming a legal resident, a documented worker, a permanent resident. This episode is called Visa, Value, and Validation. Who are you becoming? And if that question makes you uncomfortable, good. That means you're exactly where you need to be. Because today, we're not just talking about immigration. We're talking about transformation. We're talking about reclaiming yourself. We're talking about refusing to let a government process define the entirety of who you are. Stay with me. This might be the most important conversation we have had all year about it. Immigration is the roadblock. Purpose is the engine. And most of us make choice one. We stop. We wait. We surrender our entire identity to the road condition. But I'm asking you to make choice number two. Here's what that looks like in practice. Step one, rediscover who you were. Before immigration consumed your identity, who were you? Not your job title, not your degree, not your nationality. Who were you at your core? What made you come alive? What did you do just because you loved it? What were you curious about? What did you believe was possible? I want you to spend time this week doing something specific. Get it, Jonah? I know. Everyone says Jonah. But listen to how I'm asking you to do this. Go back. The version of you at 16, at 20, before you ever thought about leaving home. What did that person want? What excited them? What did they believe they could become? Then write about the moment you decided to immigrate. What were you running toward? What were you running from? What did you hope to find? Then write about now. Who are you today? What have you gained? What have you lost? This isn't therapy. This is reconnaissance. You're gathering intelligence on yourself because you can't rebuild what you don't remember. Step two, clarify your purpose independent of location. Here's the question that changes everything. If you woke up tomorrow in any country in the world, what would you still want to be doing? Not what job you could legally have, but what would you be building, creating, contributing? That's your purpose. And it has to be portable. It has to transcend borders, visas, and paperwork. Maybe it's education, maybe it's entrepreneurship, maybe it's art, technology, community building, storytelling. Whatever it is, it has to be anchored in who you are, not where you are. Because countries change their policies. Economic shift, political winds blow differently every election cycle. But your purpose, that's yours. Nobody can deport that. Step three, build a strategy that moves in any scenario. This is the part most people miss. They think strategy is about choosing one path and committing fully. No, for immigrants, strategy is about building optionality. You need a plan that makes progress whether you are approved or denied. Whether you stay or go, whether this country works out or you pivot to another country. That means develop skills that travel, digital skills, remote work capabilities, certification that are recognized globally, languages, platforms that don't require physical presence, build income streams that aren't location dependent, freelancing, consulting, online courses, digital products. You can deliver from anywhere. Create a safety net that moves with you. This is where financial strategy becomes critical. And I'm going to get specific here because nobody talks about this practically. As an immigrant, you need to think about wealth differently. You need liquidity, you need portability. You need the ability to access your money regardless of which country you are in or whatever banking system you are navigating. This is where tools like stable coins, specifically USDT, become powerful. Now, before you dismiss this as risky, hear me out. Imagine you've saved $10,000, but it's trapped in a US bank account. And your visa status is uncertain. If you have to leave, transferring money internationally could pose a challenge. What if you get picked off suddenly? Prepare. Now, imagine that same $10,000 is stored in a USDT in a secure wallet like Ledger or Trust Wallet. It's dollar pegged, so it's not subject to the volatility of the crypto market. And you can access it anywhere in the world through legal P2P exchanges like Binance or OKX. And if your plan change, if you need to relocate your family, if you need to move to another country, if you need to send money across borders instantly, you have the freedom to do so. Now, I'm not saying put all your life savings in crypto. I'm saying build financial optionality. Have a portion of your wealth in portable, accessible forms that doesn't depend on any single country's banking system. This is strategy. This is what it means to move regardless of road conditions. But none of this works without the most important step. And that's step number 4. Start now, today. Not when you get approved, not when you feel ready, not when conditions are perfect. Start now. Start more if you have to. Start quiet if you need to. Start in ways that don't jeopardize your immigration status if that's your concern. But start, because every day you wait is a day you're not building muscle memory for the life that you actually want. Every week you postpone is a week of skills you are not developing. Every month you tell yourself soon is a month your purpose withers. The approver, when it comes, to accelerate your momentum, not initiate it. You should already be in motion, already building, already becoming, so that when the letter arrives, you don't start your life, you scale it. Now, I know some of you are thinking, this sounds great, but you don't understand my situation. You don't understand the barriers I'm facing. You're right. I don't know your specific circumstances, but I know this. Immigrants around the world are facing systemic challenges that make everything I just said feel almost impossible. And we need to name these realities before we can strategize around. For example, in the United States, processing times for employment-based green cards have ballooned. What used to take months now take many years. People are aging out of dependent visa status. Spouses can't work. Dreams are being put on hold, not for months, but for decades in some categories. In the United Kingdom, the certificate of sponsorship system ties to workers to specific employers in ways that limit mobility and create power imbalances. Skilled workers are being exploited because they know that leaving their job means potentially leaving the country. And in Germany and across the EU, credential recognition is a nightmare. Doctors, engineers, teachers with years of experience are starting from scratch because their degrees aren't recognized, and the recertification process takes years and costs thousands. Meanwhile, bills need to be paid, so they take survivor jobs that have nothing to do with their training. In Japan, even with status, cultural and language barriers create a ceiling. Integration is difficult. Professional advancement is limited. Many immigrants feel perpetually foreign despite legal residence. And everywhere, this is true. Families back home don't understand the realities. They see you in America or Europe or any other developed countries and assume you are wealthy. They have expectations you can't meet. They don't know you're working 2-3 jobs just to make rent. They don't know your degree means nothing here. They don't know you're driving Uber with a master's degree. They don't know you cry in your car before leaving for work at a job that makes you feel invisible. This is the global immigrant reality. This is the context in which you are trying to maintain identity, build purpose, and keep hope alive. And it's brutal. So I'm not here to tell you it's easy. I'm not here to give you the toxic positivity. I'm not here to say just believe in yourself as if believe alone pays bills or change policies. I'm here to say in the midst of all of this, you still have agency, not over the system, not over processing times or immigration judges or policymakers, but over yourself, over your response, over how you choose to show up every single day despite the weight of it all. You have agency over whether you let this process define you or whether you define yourself in spite of it. You have agency over whether you spend these years waiting or building. You have agency over your mindset, your skills, your preparation, your purpose. And that agency, that's where your power lives. All right, let's get specific. Let's talk about what you can actually do this week, this month, this quarter, regardless of your status. I'm going to break this down by the 3 groups I mentioned earlier. But even if you're not in one of these categories exactly, pay attention. There's wisdom here for everyone. So for those still waiting, what are the 6 steps that you can take while still undocumented or you are in status spending? Your priority is twofold. Protect your status while building your future. Here's how you do it. Number 1, skill development that doesn't jeopardize your status. Take online courses, get certified in digital skills, learn software that's in demand, study languages. All of this can be done quietly, safely, without affecting your immigration case. Use platforms like Coursera, edX, LinkedIn Learning, Free Code Camp. I suggest focusing on areas like data analysis, digital marketing, UX design, project management, video editing, coding. These are skills that are globally portable and often allowed for remote work. Step 2, build a portfolio, not just a resume. Start documenting your work. If you're a designer, create a sample project. If you're a writer, start a blog under a pseudonym if you're afraid of your name getting out. If you are an analyst, do case studies. Your goal is by the time your status is resolved, you have proof of skills, not just claims. Step 3, network strategically. Join online communities in your field, engage on LinkedIn, attend virtual conferences, build relationships with people who could help you when your status clears. You're not asking for jobs yet. You are building social capital. Step 4, plan for multiple scenarios. Have a plan A, which is status approved, a plan B, Status denied, but you pivot to another country. A plan C, you return home, but with skills and a strategy. Each plan should have skills you need, money you need, timeline, contact, action steps. Write these down. Update them every quarter. Step 5, protect your mental health. Find community, talk to people who understand. Don't isolate. This journey is hard enough without doing it alone. Therapy, if you can access it, journaling, exercising, whatever keeps you grounded. You're not weak for needing help. You're human. So don't forget that. Let me now speak to the second group. For those who got papers but feel lost, restarting delayed dreams, your status is secure. Now it's time to remember who you wanted to be. So here are your action plans. 1, conduct a life audit. Take a weekend, go somewhere quiet, bring a journal. Ask yourself, what did I want to do 5 years ago that I didn't pursue because of immigration? What skills have atrophied because I was in survival mode? What relationship did I neglect? What version of myself did I abandon? Write it all down. And then step 2, create a 90-day purpose sprint. Pick one thing you've been postponing. Just one. Not everything, one thing. Maybe it's that business idea. Maybe it's going back to school. Maybe it's a creative project. Maybe it's a relationship you need to repair. Give yourself 90 days to make meaningful progress on. Break into weekly milestone, track your progress, adjust as needed. The goal isn't perfection. It's momentum. It's proving to yourself that you can still dream and execute. So step 3, invest in yourself financially. You've been in survival mode. You've been sending money home, paying off debt, building an emergency fund. Good. Keep doing that. But also set aside a dream fund, even if it's just like about $50 a month. Money you are allowed to spend on courses, coaching, starting that side project, whatever moves you towards your purpose. You're not being selfish. You're being strategic. Step 4, build your social circle. Survival mode often means isolation. You walked, you went home, you repeated. Now, you need community. You need people who see the version of you that you are becoming, not just the version of you that you've been. Join groups, take classes, volunteer, show up to events. Your next opportunity, your next friendship, your next insight is in a room you haven't entered yet. 5, forgive yourself for the lost years. This is the hardest one. You are angry, you are grieving, you're looking at friends who didn't immigrate and wondering if they made the right choice. You're looking at all the things you should have done. Stop. You survived an immigration process that breaks most people. You're here. You're documented. You're alive. The years weren't wasted. They were hard. There's a difference. Now you get to build. And you're building with wisdom, resilience, and clarity that only comes from the struggle you've been through. So forgive yourself and then get to work. And the last group, the professionally stable but spiritually drifting ones, please break out of the grind. You are the trickiest group because your life looks good, your family is proud, your LinkedIn is impressive, but you're dying inside. So let's change that. Here are your action steps. 1, define what enough means. Sit down with a spreadsheet. Calculate how much you actually need to live the life you want. Not impress people, not meet other people's expectations. Your life. Once you know your number, everything above it is freedom. Freedom to take risks, freedom to pivot, freedom to choose purpose over paycheck. Step 2, start a side project in stealth mode. Don't quit your job. That's not strategic. But start building something on the side, something that excites you, something that could become income in 1 to 2 years. Dedicate 5 to 10 hours a week. Protect that time like it's your second job. You're not escaping current job. You're building an exit strategy. Step 3, reframe your relationship with money. Right now, money is your cage. You need a salary, so you stay on the job. But what if you restructured your life to need less? What if you pay off debt aggressively? What if you live below your means intentionally? Suddenly, the cage gets bigger. I'm not saying live like a monk. I'm saying financial freedom is about needing less, not making more. Step 4, find mentors who made the leap. You need to see example of people who left stable jobs and didn't crash and burn. Find them, interview them, learn their strategies. Because right now, your life is based on imagination. You need to replace imagination with information. Step 5, give yourself permission to want more. This is the real work. You've convinced yourself that wanting more fulfillment, more purpose, more joy is ungrateful. Your parents sacrificed, you have a good job, you should be happy. But gratitude and aspiration aren't enemies. You can be grateful for where you are and committed to where you're going. So give yourself permission. You are allowed to want a life that doesn't just look good, but feels good. We're near the end, and I need to leave you with something you can hold on to when this episode is over. Because everything I've shared today, the framework, the strategies, the action steps, none of it matters if you walk away and do nothing. So here's my challenge to you. Your status may influence your timeline, but it must never determine your identity. Read that again. Say it out loud. Your status, your visa, your papers, your legal situation that influences your timeline, it might slow you down, it might change your path, it might force you to build differently, but it does not get to decide who you are. You are not a visa category. You are not a pending application. You are not a case number in a system. You are a human being with purpose, with gifts, with something meaningful to contribute to this world. And that truth doesn't change based on what some government official decides about your paperwork. So move now, start now, build now. Not next year when you get approved, not after you figured everything out, not when conditions are perfect. Now, start small if you have to. Start scared, start imperfectly, but start you must. Because when the approval comes, and I believe it will, you don't want to be starting from zero. You want to be accelerating. You want to be scaling. You want to be saying, I've been preparing for this moment. And if the approval doesn't come the way you hoped, if the path changes, if you have to pivot, you still have built something. You still have skills. You still have purpose. You still have yourself. And that's portable. That crosses border. That survives policy changes. That's yours. I want you to think about the person you were before immigration consumed your identity. Can you see them? Can you remember what they cared about, what they believed was possible? Now, I want you to imagine the person you have become. Not the person the system wants you to be. Not the person your family expects. Not the person survival mode has forced you to be. The person you are choosing to become. What do they look like? What are they building? What are they no longer afraid of? That person, they already exist. They are waiting for you to choose them. Every day you take one step towards your purpose, you're choosing them. Every time you refuse to let fear make your decisions, you're choosing them. Every time you invest in yourself despite uncertainty, you are choosing them. So here's what I need you to do before this week is over. Choose one action, just one. Maybe it's starting that journal and doing your identity archaeology, signing up for one course in a skill you want to build, opening that savings account and putting away the first $50 for your dream fund, reaching out to one person who's done what you want to do, writing your 90-day purpose sprint plan, researching secure wallets and starting to build your financial safety net. Just one action, something tangible, something you can point to and say, I moved. And then come back here and leave a comment, send a DM, tell me what you choose. Because here's what I'm building. I'm building a community of immigrants who refuse to be defined by their paperwork. A community of people who are building their purpose during uncertainty, not after. A community that says the system doesn't get to write my story. I do. And I want you in that community. I told you earlier about my 7-year wait, about the dreams I delayed, about the time I can't get back. But here's what I've learned. That time wasn't wasted. It taught me something I couldn't have learned any other way. It taught me that I'm not my visa status, that my value doesn't come from government's approval, that my purpose doesn't wait for permission. And it taught me that the most important thing I could do with the pain, with those 7 years, was to make sure that you don't lose yours. So if this episode does anything, I hope it gives you back something. I hope it gives you back something immigration tried to take from you. Your sense of agency, your clarity of purpose, your permission to become. Because you're not stranded, you are navigating. There's a difference. And while you may be labeled an alien, you are anything but foreign to yourself. So stay alien, stay authentic, and don't let them strand your spirit. This is Alien and Stranded. Thank you for trusting me with your time today. If this episode resonated with you, if you felt seen, if you felt challenged, if you felt inspired, do me a favor. Share it, send it to someone who needs to hear this, post about it, tell your story. Because every person who hears this message is one more who refuses to let immigration define their identity. And that's how we build the movement. Connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Alien and Stranded Pod. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our newsletter on Substack, where we go even deeper on these topics. And most importantly, take the one action this week, then come back and tell me about it. I want to hear your story. Next episode, We're talking about the wealth system we never saw, how Africans abroad avoid repeating our parents' mistake. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, remember, your status may influence your timeline, but it must never determine your identity. Move now, start now, build now. When the approval comes, you accelerate, not begin. I'll see you next time.